get unready with me while I yap about my career to you guys for a little bit. This one's for the working girlies with big dreams. I have talked about this before, but I don't talk about it enough. It is so important that we remind ourselves who we are. And for many of us, that's a hardworking, career-motivated, dream-chasing, badass bitch. After you have kids, you feel guilty for feeling this way. So let's nip that in the bud. You being career-driven, you chasing your dreams, you building your business, all that's gonna pass on to your children. Let's start from the beginning. Once upon a time, I got my undergraduate degree at UC Berkeley. Because I had so many college credits from high school, I was able to graduate college in 3 years' time, which saved my parents a ton of money. And I was, and still am, very, very proud of that. If you come from a family with not a lot of means, you know just how good that feeling is to take a little bit of load off of your parents. So I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2012. And at that point, I knew I wanted to get my MBA. I only applied to one graduate program at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And at the time, they had a 1-year MBA program. And I graduated with my MBA in 2013. Now from there, still broke as a joke, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I got into banking, entry-level retail banking. I hated that job. But I was like, man, I'm making $50,000 a year. I am ballin'. I worked at Wells Fargo for approximately 1 year. And I'm like, this is not cutting it. I'm so unhappy. And around this time, tech was booming in the Bay Area. I got my foot in the door at a small fintech company called Square. At Square, I climbed and made my way into risk management. I spent 3 years as a risk and fraud investigator. And then I got into program management. So I was working with product managers, engineering teams, just learning what it meant to work cross-functionally and drive influence horizontally. I was in program management for about 3 years. At that point, I wanted a different challenge. I really wanted to lead people. And so my manager at the time took a big chance on me and I became a manager of the team that I used to work on. So I became a manager of fraud investigators. That role quickly developed. Instead of leading investigators, I was now leading policy analysts. So think project managers, program managers, that support and operations team. I led those people. I wanted to start developing as a leader with my own identity. At that point, I had been at Square for about 8 years and I was just ready for a change. So I accepted a new role at a company called Chime as a senior manager of disputes. But sadly, the day after I joined the company, the entire organization reorged and my role as a manager was absolved. So I went from potentially managing managers to becoming an IC again. And that was really hard to accept. But God works in mysterious ways. That was a blessing in disguise. I had just had my second baby. I was not ready for the emotional investment of leading a team of managers. And so I just redeveloped as an IC again, reminded myself I don't like being an IC and I want to lead people again. A friend of mine reached out to me and said, hey, I have a role for you. I think you're going to like this one. And it's funny because I'd actually interviewed for this company a few years prior. I lost out to a candidate that was much stronger than I was. And I said, you know what? It's not my time. Little did I know a couple years later, I would be interviewing for a different role on the same team, leading managers. I knew it was a role that I would have to grow into. And I am now the senior manager of fraud for this company. I have a team of 20 people, 3 managers underneath me. I am so fulfilled by this role. Developing as a leader has been the most humbling, rewarding experience of my career today. After 12 years in corporate fintech, I am in a role that scares the crap out of me, but excites me the most than I've ever been before. Developing as a leader, knowing when to practice restraint, being direct with people in the interest of serving them, building a culture on your team that you can be proud of. I don't see myself leaving corporate fintech anytime soon. I love this space. If you know anything about tech, it moves very, very quickly. It's very messy. You solve a lot of interesting problems and you wear a lot of hats. A big deciding factor for me choosing to work for this company is my manager. When she interviewed me, I was terrified, but her values really came through and I left the interview saying, I need to work for her. She's going to develop me. Okay, that's enough yapping for now. Let me know if I should do more of these. I could gab about my career all day. Bye.